Shalom. I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh, and give double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala, and we're going to get right into part 14 of the series that I've been doing called How Do I Know? How do I know that I'm a Hebrew Israelite? How do I know that we are the Hebrew Israelites? And when I say we, I'm referring to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives of this land that you call America. And this is going to finish up, this lesson, Lord willing, is going to finish up in the book of Genesis. And even though this is part 14, I'm going to title this The Israelites in Egypt, because that's where we left off, where Jacob, or Israel, and his whole family had been brought into the land of Egypt, in the land of Goshen. And this probably won't be very long, but we're going to just go through, just pick up where we left off at Genesis chapter 47. And I'm going to go to verse 7. And it says, And Joseph brought Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Now this is that they are in the land of Goshen. Verse 8 says, And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh, and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren, and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. So I'm going to go to the blue letter and see what does Ramses mean, because this was to be, according to Pharaoh, the best of the land of Israel, of Egypt. Shalaki. So I'm going to go to the blue letter and see what Ramses means. I'm going to get a pronunciation of it. And in the Hebrew it is H7486.
Strong's H7486. Rameses, and second entry, Ramses.
And according to the blue letter, Ramses means child of the sun. It says a city in Lower Egypt built by Hebrew slaves, probably in Goshen. So we see that's that's where Jacob and his family had gone into. They'd gone into the land of Goshen. I'm going to jump down to verse 13. It says, "And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land in Canaan fainted by reason of the famine." So we see that there's a famine coming upon the land. It says, "And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. It says, when that year was ended, they came unto him a second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord, how that your money is spent. My lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. So all the people of the land are coming to Joseph, and because they have nothing else to give, they had already given what their cattle and their land, or they're giving their cattle and all their other livestock. The only thing they had left to give was themselves and their land. So they gave themselves as slaves over to Pharaoh. Verse 20, it says, And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them, so the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. So the priests in the lands did not sell their lands. Verse 23 says, And Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have brought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. Now let's see what Goshen means. I'm just interested to see what Goshen means. I don't know if we looked it up on the last part, but we're going to look it up again. according to the blue letter. And it is H1657. And I'll give you a pronunciation.
Strong's H 1657. Goshen. Goshen.
And according to the blue letter, it says Goshen means drawing near. It says a region in northern Egypt, east of the lower Nile, where the children of Israel lived from the time of Joseph to the time of Moses. All right, so we're going to go on. And we're at verse 28. It says, and Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. So he was 147 years old. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, if now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers. And thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. All right, so we're going to chapter 48. And I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to touch on a few verses. This is chapter 48. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy two sons Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine, and Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. So we see there, this is why the sons of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, are two of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. Even though they were Jacob's grandsons, he says they are mine because they were born in that land of Egypt. So he took them as his sons. So that's why we see his grandsons being part of the 12 tribes of Israel. And I want to jump down to verse 13. And it reads, says, and Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. So Joseph is trying to position the children, his sons Manasseh and Ephraim, according to their age, so that Jacob would have his right hand on the eldest, which was Manasseh, because that's usually where the blessing went to the eldest, the firstborn, and to Ephraim. He put Ephraim on Jacob's left hand, on his left hand side. Verse 14, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. So he brought his arms out and crossed his arms, so that he was putting his right hand upon Ephraim's head. And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the Most High, which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Slack it just a minute. I think I just lost my card here. Had my notes on it. All right, slack it for that. All right, we're still in chapter 48. And I'm at verse 17. It says, and when Joseph saw his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but the Most High shall be with you and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. All right, so he blessed him according to how it would be, because as we'll learn later, Ephraim would be the head tribe, or the head tribe of the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom would consist of all the tribes with the exception of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. They would be They would be the southern kingdom. And we'll find those, well, Lord willing, we'll be able to get to that and get more understanding as to why the kingdom divided, but that's a little bit further down the line. So Lord willing, we'll be able to get to that. But I'm going to go over to chapter 49. And we've been reading from 49 to get the meanings of the names of the 12 progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel. So we're not going to go into much of that chapter 49 because, like I said, we've been going into that already, getting the meanings of their name. But I will go over the meanings of their names one more time. Just so we're clear on what their names mean. And Lord willing, I'll be able to get these right because it's kind of bright outside, so it's kind of hard to read here. But we're going to go into the tribe of Reuben. And it says, Thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, and the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. And Reuben means, see, it's a son. And Simeon and Levi, our brethren, instruments of cruelty, are in their habitations. So I'm just reading some from chapter 49. Simeon means affliction heard, and Levi means joined unto me. Judah says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And Judah means Yahweh praise. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Zebulun meaning dwelling. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. And Issachar means he is hired. It says Asher, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. And Asher means happy. And Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words. And Naphtali means my wrestling. And I think we had already said that Ephraim means he is fruitful. Benjamin means the son of the right. And Manasseh means made to forget. So I just wanted to go back over those and just give you the meanings once more. Like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time in the chapter 49 because we've been reading that. But I am going to read the last couple verses there. It says, all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their fathers spake unto them and blessed them. Everyone according to his blessing, he blessed them. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron, the Hittite. It says, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. And I want to go in to see what that word, the field name, Machpelah, what that means, according to the blue letter. 49. That's in chapter, and then we're going to go into the blue letter, chapter 49, and verse 30. And I'll give you a pronunciation of it. It is H4375.
Strong's H 4375. Machpelah. Machpelah.
So it's Machpelah. It says double or portion. It says the location of a burial cave for the patriarchs near Hebron. All right, so, and you know what? So I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm still in chapter 49. But I want to back up to verse 22. It says, Joseph is a fruitful ball, even a fruitful ball by a well, whose branches run over the wall. It says, the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and in the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai of Jacob. From thence is his shepherd, the stone of Israel. It says, even by the Most High of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that shall lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brother. So, just reading that, we can see that Jacob really kind of favored Joseph. I mean, just as in maybe in some of our families, your parents might have one child that they favor over the other, and it's their children. They got the right to have a favorite, just as Isaac had a favorite between Jacob and Esau. Isaac kind of favored Esau because he liked the way he cooked the venison for him. So Jacob kind of favored Joseph. That was his favorite child. And it's just like you being a creator of anything. If you create a portrait or you draw a picture, and let's say you draw two pictures of the same image, and one comes out a little bit better than the other, you got the right You have the right to favor one image over the other, or one drawing over the other, because you created them. It's just like our Creator, Yahweh, favors out of the 18 nations, he favors the nation of Israel. That is the one that he loves. That is the one he chose him to himself. And he has the right to do that. He created all the nations, so he can favor whichever one he wants. And just to back that up, I'm going to go into the Apocrypha. And Apocrypha just means hidden books. These are the books that were taken out of the original King James Version, 1611. And these chapters were taken out of the regular 66 book canon, because it goes over the Greek captivity and Esau being in control, and this being his kingdom. He saw where he wanted to take those books out of the 66 books canon, and in an effort to try to keep the Israelites in darkness, keep us from knowing who we are, because with this book it much more comes to light between the first or the Old Testament and the New Testament. But I'm going to go over to 2nd Ezra, and I'm in chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 54. It says, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen." It says, "All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes." So we can see Ezra is speaking with one of the angels of the Lord, Uriel, and it's being revealed that the Lord made this world for the sakes of the Israelites. And though it seems like the Israelites are going through hell right now, which we are, he still made this world for our sakes. Verse 56, it says, "As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle." And spittle is just like a spit. That's exactly what it is. It's spit. So if you're speaking to somebody and you make a mistake and spit out a little bit of spittle from your mouth, you're not going to rush over and try to get the spittle off of the ground. You don't care about that. It's nothing. It's just like if you have a bucket of water and you're carrying it and you drop one drop out of the bucket, you're not going to put the bucket down and try to scoop up that one little drop and put it back in the bucket. You don't care about it. But that's how the Lord sees the other nations. The other nations are nothing to him. Verse 57. Oh, Salakia, let me finish up. Let me start 56 again. It says, "As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us." So I just wanted to bring that out, but to show you that the Lord has favorites, and his favorite nation is the nation of Israel. And the other heathen he don't care about. And we're almost done here. I just wanted to bring that out just to finish up. We're going to go into Let's see if there's any more I wanted in chapter 49 here. Just to finish up in chapter 49, I'm going to drop down to verse 31. It says, they are buried, Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. So this place that Jacob wants to be buried, his forefathers laid there. So he doesn't want to be buried in the land of Egypt. He wants to be buried with his forefathers. Verse 33, it says, and when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet unto the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. So when it says yielded up the ghost, that means he died at that point. And we're going to go into just a little bit of chapter 50. And at this point, Jacob has been taken to the land where he wanted to be buried, near Mamre. And Joseph has returned back into the land of Egypt, and he's at the latter days of his life. So we're going to just drop, rather than reading all of chapter 50, we're going to go to, I just want to get verses 24. It says, and Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and the Most High will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and he shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Now, even though the Israelites were in this land of Egypt, and the offspring of the 12 progenitors of Israel were giving birth to their children in that land, that doesn't make them Egyptians. They are still Israelites because they're born of the Israelites. So that is who they are of. They are of the nation of Israel. And I'm going to go over to Exodus. And we're going to get ready to wrap this up here, because this is what I wanted to bring out to get you to the point to be able to understand how it came to be that the Israelites became slaves in the land of Egypt. But like I said, just because they're born in Egypt, that does not make them Egyptians. So I'm going to go over to Exodus chapter 1, and I'm going to drop down to verse 7. It says, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. So this new king doesn't know anything about Joseph, because Joseph had died at this point. Verse 9, it says, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. So the Egyptians know that these are different people, and they're afraid. They're seeing how these people multiply. Just as we see the nations of Israel are today. If it wasn't for abortion clinics and for our women always being so quick to get abortions, we would be more and more plentiful than we are in this so-called United States. But they always tell us, and they've been telling us for decades, even since I can remember as a youngster, that we're 13%. As far as the so-called blacks are concerned, we make up 13% of the population in the United States. And I don't believe that, because it couldn't have stayed at 13%. Back into Exodus chapter 1, I'm at verse 11. It says, Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Verse 15, And the king of Egypt spake unto the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then shall he live. So they're making it a mission to try to kill off the population, or to kill off the people of Israel, by getting rid of all of the boys. And they're expecting the midwives to do this. The midwives being Hebrew women. It says, verse 17, it says, But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. So these Israelite women said, we're not listening to this king. We fear the Most High, and we know that's not the right thing for us to do. So we fear the Most High more than we fear him, and we're going to allow these boys, these male Israelites, to live. Verse 18, it says, And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come unto them. So they sent the midwives, telling the king that before we could get to the midwives when they're giving birth, they've already given birth with ease, and these child are being born. So they're saying they couldn't time it where they would be able to kill these male children. It says, And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore the Most High dwelt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born shall be cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. All right, and I'm going to get ready to wrap it up there. But before I do that, I want to go over to chapter 11, still in the book of Exodus. And I know if everybody is familiar with the story of Moses, so I'm not gonna go in that over that story, just in an effort to be able to keep focused on what it is that we're talking about. We're talking about the Israelites being in Egypt. Says, I'm just going to read verse 1, then I'm going to drop down to verse 5. It says, "And the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether." So we know that the Lord had brought plagues on Pharaoh and the Egyptians, because they were trying to keep the Israelites in bondage, trying to keep them in slavery, and keep them as servants in the land of Egypt. But when Moses came along, Moses was charged by the Lord with making sure that this people were led out of the land of Egypt, out of bondage. Verse 5, I'm going to drop down to verse 5. It says, "And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die." Now this is the plague that the Lord is bringing upon the Egyptians. It says, all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservants that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beasts. And I'm just dropping down to these verses just to show you that there is a distinction and there is a difference between the Israelite and the Egyptian. And when this plague was being brought upon Egypt, that this plague would not touch and would not touch the Lord's people, the Israelites. And I'm going to go over to drop down to verse 7. It says, "But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against a man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." So even though this plague was going to come across the land, there would be wailing and howling, and the firstborn of the Egyptians, even the firstborn beasts, would die, because that's what the plague that the Lord would bring upon the Egyptians. And to see that there was that difference, even though the Israelites were at this point still in Egypt, in their lands and in their dwellings, it says not even a dog should move his tongue, showing you that even though the death was going out in the land of Egypt, with the Egyptians, all was quiet, because they were protected and they were in the hands of the Most High. So it was quiet amongst their dwellings, and their firstborns were not affected by this plague. And I just wanted to bring that out to show you that the Lord has put a difference between these two peoples, even though they may look to be the same people. They are not the same people. And we saw that early on when we saw that there's a difference between the Shemites and the Hamites. The Shemites being the Israelites being descendants of Shem, and the African and the Egyptians being descendants of Ham. But I'm going to go ahead and end it right there for now, and we'll be able to, Lord willing, be able to pick up more on the next lesson that we bring out. So I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Shalom.